Welcome back, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm grateful for everyone that listens. And here we are, approaching the big 100 with episode 91. Live your truth. I read from the Stoics daily, and the other day I stumbled across this quote from Marcus Aurelius. How rotten and fraudulent when people say they intend to give it to you straight. What are you up to, dear friend? It shouldn't need your announcement, but be readily seen, as if written on your forehead, heard in the ring of your voice, a flash in your eyes, just as the beloved sees it all in the lover's glance. In short, the straightforward and good person should be like a smelly goat. You know when they are in the room with you. I guess the Stoics did have a sense of humor after all. But I actually had to read this quote several times, and each time I began to like it just a bit more. To me it means this: live your truth. Set an example with your actions, not with your words. So often we feel we have to resort to words to make ourselves be heard. And when those words are misunderstood, misconstrued, and don't achieve their intended purpose, we get frustrated, angry, and discouraged. Why rely on words? Aurelius challenges us to live our words. Instead of announcing honesty, like we often do, let me be honest with you, or the truth here is this. Show your truth. Not so easy, right? It's actually funny, but this happened now a few times to me. When I think about an episode topic or work on it in a public place, I sometimes witness other people that exemplify exactly the things I'm working on. And this happened to me today as well. I sat next to two men and couldn't ignore the conversation because the one who spoke mostly, the other mostly listened, was very passionate about his topic. He was mostly frustrated with his work environment. He's a teacher and seemed very committed to his job. But he listed all these examples for everything that was wrong in his school and that therefore didn't allow him to do a good job. He talked about yelling matches he's getting into with other teachers because of the things he thinks should be different. And I felt for him, especially at the end when he concluded that he wasn't happy there because the school didn't allow him to do his job, and so he's working on his resume. Meaning, he's going to quit. It was an interesting conversation. Well, mostly it was a monologue. The other person didn't offer any insight or feedback. And I was dying to join this conversation. I'm really not sure what I would have said or offered. But he had an obvious dilemma and he needed a sounding board. But I kept thinking about this quote in front of me from Aurelius. And I thought to myself, what if, instead of trying to make ourselves be heard more, as we so often do, and even start yelling and getting upset, what if we lived our truth more? What would that look like? Words have the advantage of being more immediate, more clearly heard, and more directly understood than actions. But is that really the case? The teacher changed nothing with his words. Instead, he felt he needed to resign. Let's look at it a little closer. Are words more immediate? I think they are, because they're uttered much quicker than actions. But just because they're spoken quickly doesn't mean they're understood quickly. In fact, we often speak at the wrong time. Just because we feel we need to speak doesn't mean the other person is ready to listen. Sometimes it's best to wait for the appropriate time to say something of importance. Actions, on the other hand, may take time to execute, but the correct action in the right moment can, as we often say, speak 1,000 words. Your friend taking you out to a nice dinner after your long, miserable week is more immediate and a much bolder statement than an expression of sympathy over the phone. It will be remembered longer and speaks louder about the value of your friendship. Are words clearer and more obvious than actions? They seem that way, right? I'm pissed is a pretty clear statement. But is it really? What does it mean? I can be angry for many reasons. And am I angry at you personally or just something you did or said? Or is this serious anger or am I just saying it to get your attention? Words are never as clear as they seem. If they were, we would never have as many misunderstandings as we do as human beings. How many times have you been replaying exchanges in your head? Read text messages over and over again, trying to make sense of their meaning? Actions, on the other hand, leave very little room for misinterpretation. Yeah, people sometimes are propelled to do things that don't really mean anything, but actions take more effort than words, and most people cannot be convinced to expend a ton of energy on something they don't fully support. The right actions at the right time send a clear and loud message, louder than any yelling match, clearer than any sharp word. Actions, good or bad, communicate where you stand. Take the simple yet so overused, I love you, and now compare those 3 words to any action that demonstrates that love. I'm thinking back to the teacher. I didn't listen to every detail of the conversation to know what exactly was bothering him, but it seemed he became frustrated and used his words to show it. This spread an air of negativity. Could he have tried doing something that, if executed properly, would support that passion and love for his work that he felt? Maybe he did, I don't know. But let's consider it for our lives. If something isn't right, what's the best way to change it? Make it right. Don't talk about the mess and the disorder. Clean up. Don't complain about this and that at work. Start doing something about it. Yeah, maybe these things require more thought, more effort, and more energy. But in the end, they speak for themselves. Instead of only speaking your honesty, promote an atmosphere of honesty around you. Are words better understood than actions? I think by now we can agree that they're not. Actions combined with the right words are best understood. Words should support your actions. That demonstrates integrity. If you say you're in love, then you also engage in behaviors that can be considered as loving. Live your truth. Cultivate a life of honesty, and you won't need words to support it. Be aware of who you are and what you value, and then live that life. Live your truth is my encouragement for you. Consider those moments in your day today where you want to say something, you want to complain, you want to talk about someone behind your back, you want to be frustrated or angry. How can you turn it around? How can you show in your actions how you feel about the situation in a positive way, so that sends a message to other people and maybe brings change, good change. Much love. Until next time.